With Squid Game Season 3 less than a month away, let's discuss some of the craziest Squid Game Season 3 theories, starting with the best one. The first one is a theory confirmed by Netflix themselves in the trailer, that Young Suk, player 246, was not killed in the rebellion. Yeah, he was shot after begging for his life, but a second of the teaser confirms that the bullet wasn't fatal. But that's not the end of this theory. Noel, Guard 11, saves him and helps him pay for his daughter's treatment. I mean, we already have proof of Noel escaping the island. It was a triangle guard, the same rank as Noel, that shot Young Suk. They met before they were on the island, which is surely not a coincidence considering Season 2 and Season 3 were filmed at the same time. That's all for this theory, but bigger ones come later. What's the centerpiece of Squid Game? Well, it's in the name. It's the games. Netflix has revealed in the teaser that Game 4 will include a maze. Players will walk up to a gumball machine, spin it, and then either a ball of blue or red will come out of the machine, assigning them to the team of that color. From what we see in the teaser trailer, Gi-hun, Namgyu, Myung-gi, Junhee, Gumja, and Min-soo are all on the red team, whilst Young-shik, Daeho, Sonyo, the shaman lady, player 006, and the rest of the shaman's group, Hyunju and Im Jong-dae, player 100, all rolled a blue gumball. With the mother and son pair on opposite teams and players possibly receiving their gumballs in order of number, some people have said that this round is rigged, and I strongly agree with this. The players seem to lose any right to freedom after the rebellion, so it would make sense to put players against each other, like in Marbles, which is also Game 4. Coincidence? I think not. Anyway, enough with the power of the frontman for the time being, and on to the actual game itself. As I already mentioned, the game will take place in a maze. At the time of writing, we only have the poster images for the setting and overall looks of the maze, showing us different themed rooms, and what's even more interesting is the fact that they're on the second floor. We first thought it was just a simple maze game, but no. It has sections, floors, rooms, keys, and weapons. Let's get to them now. The red and blue balls, they're probably not even gumballs to be honest, from the gumball machine, weren't only there to decide teams, but to decide which team you'll get. We know for certain that one item is a key from a teaser picture of the shaman. The other one, for the red team, blue's got the keys if you haven't guessed, isn't confirmed, but it will most likely be a knife. You see, the room with the gumball machine has two doors, but not normal shapes. One was in shape of a keyhole, and the other was in shape of a knife. Keyhole and key, knife and, well, knife. What else would it be? Adding on to this is a clip of Hyunju where she looked ready to beat the absolute shit out of a red player. Almost as if she had to, because, well, they had a knife. Maybe? Well, they have knives and keys, but why? What is the actual point of the game? What are the rules? And how do you win? This is where the maze part comes into play. The main theory is that players will have to find rooms to hide in by the end of the time limit, as shown above Gi-hun's head at the start of the game. It's at 4 minutes and 56 seconds. That one has to be staged as a little Easter egg to be honest, considering how early on in the game they probably are, so it's most likely 5 minutes long. In these 5 minutes, players with keys would have to find a room to hide in, with red players armed with knives from their boxes, hunting down the blue players to take their keys and secure a room for themselves. It's kind of the opposite of Mingle, as it will most likely be one player per room, pretty much having the score like Marbles. Yet again, just like in the previous Game 4, this surely can't just be a coincidence with the amount of linking points. But what difference do the themes of the rooms make? Just some nice interior decor, random paintings there to trick the viewers? With a director like Hwang Dong-hyuk, I very highly doubt it. This man is a genius, mapping out the storyline perfectly with nearly every detail adding up, like pieces of a jigsaw puzzle fitting into place, with the last piece placed in the last episode of the season. So why are they there then? Could it have something to do with the keys mayhaps? Maybe a certain key only opens a certain room. That makes more sense, but that would mean trial and error would occur, a bit too against the point with it being very luck-based. Never mind, I just remembered Glass Bridge exists, but it still doesn't feel right. How about getting rooms to be different for different people, like a certain style for stolen keys? 50-50 not the best, but hey, it would work. Now hold on, the rooms could require certain players with different pictures to scan to verify that you shouldn't be shot? That seems perfect. With it also lining up with the teaser picture, we see someone staring through a keyhole, probably the shaman based off of the eyebrow shape, possibly peeking in to see what the wall pattern is. They'd also have to find their way into the second floor, adding to the maze theme. I think we have a fourth game theory. Let's move on to the next ones. Remember, some of the best are saved for last. Game 4 down, 2 more to go. But what will they be? The teaser trailer and pictures only seem to want to tell us what the fourth game is, leaving theories for Game 5 down to us, the viewers. Let's look at some of these links to start. Think, we already know what one of the Game 5s was, right? Just rewind a few years, and we get Glass Bridge. Think about what the main points of Glass Bridge are, other than the absolute bucket of luck, or well, plot armor if your name is Song Gi-hun, to survive. It's really high up there. That's a start, right? Why not continue from there? Let's sidetrack and take a step back though. Think back to the final meal between Gi-hun, Sang-woo, and Se-byuk. They're in a bunk room but without the bunks, and what else can we see on these walls? Diagrams. And what are they about? Red light, green light, Dalgona, Tug of War, Marbles, Glass Bridge, Squid Game. They're all the games of that year.
마지막 6번째 게임은 오징어 게임입니다.
See where I'm going with this? In one of the scenes in Season 2, we can see a slight glimpse of one of these drawings or diagrams, whatever they are, and it shows people swinging across bars, apparently hanging on for their lives. What game would involve swinging across bars high up from Season 1 hints? But hang on, how would monkey bars out of everything be played? Couldn't the strongest person, so basically the Duksu of Season 2 and 3, just go first and hang on to skip the last game, winning the 45.6 billion won? Well, no, like in Glass Bridge, people would be most likely indecisive about the order, this time wanting to go first in case somebody does this, or maybe just do it themselves. So the order would either be randomized like the gumball machine in Game 4, or probably just the same as Glass Bridge, where they have a chosen number without knowing what it meant. Gi-hun wouldn't be able to help them like he did in Red Light Green Light, as he can't even vote anymore. We'll get to that soon. So he probably won't be able to scream, "I've played these games before," again. He won't be of much help to them, so it's down to them to figure out what the numbers mean. I expect Myung-gi will figure it out pretty easily, since he's basically a less evil version of Sang-woo. Then he'll probably tell Jun-hee, if she survives the childbirth, we'll talk about that in a minute as well, trying to help her survive. If he does this, it will show her that he actually cares about her and her baby, not just her share of the prize money. This could be a turning point in the series, changing how she views him as a person. The final game will probably be just Squid Game again. I mean, it's the show's name, and the survivors could be told this by Gi-hun. They may now vote to leave, seeing how badly this could go for them with weapons involved, or if weapons aren't involved, with Namgyu and the almighty fork taking down anybody in their path. But if they don't vote to leave, the frontman might have a backup game to change it to if either it wasn't Squid Game, or for if Gi-hun told everybody what the game would be. Now that we got these games out of the way, let's talk about the players and what they do. The first drops for Season 3 that we see were pictures of Gi-hun. The first one, in order of episodes for Season 3, will be the coffin. He is sent back into the games in a coffin, and some people thought he was dead to start with. But no, it could symbolize his death, foreshadowing how the season ends. Even before he was shown in a coffin, a popular opinion was that he would die at the end of the season. But how? The first way is that he dies in a game, but given his plot armor, I don't see that happening until the last one, which we think will be the Squid Game. If Namgyu, Myung-gi, or both of them make it to the final game, they will have an advantage over someone like the shaman, for example, as Myung-gi knows how to use a weapon as he did with Thanos, or if they are given weapons and Namgyu has a weapon if they aren't given those steak knives this year around. Either of them could take down Gi-hun quite easily. The next pictures and scenes from the trailer show how Gi-hun is handcuffed to a bed, and the reason for this is very obvious. They clearly don't want him to try and start another rebellion. The interesting part of this is that he can't even vote. They have him handcuffed in the voting period as well, as seen in the teaser. What if this brings his end as well, and before the final game, he decides to just end it all, like Player 69 did in the first season? This time, however, he would have a motive. He's trapped physically, and even if he makes it out of the games alive, he will always be trapped mentally with the thought of 455 innocent people being killed by the games every single year. He can't escape, so suicide's a big possibility for the final season. One of the biggest theories for Season 3 to start the new year was around Jun-hee and Myung-gi's baby. Will she give birth in the games? Will the frontman help her? Will she die from childbirth? Is it a boy or is it a girl? Well, we don't know how it'll go yet, but we have some information about the birth. At the end of the teaser, the audio dies out. Every part except one. And it's the scream from the baby. Just before this, we saw Jun-hee crying, looking pale with Gumja right in front of her, bawling heavily and with her hair down. A very important factor. She showed Young-shik and the audience in Season 2 that she had a knife in her hairpin. So if she has her hair down, she has the hairpin out. Why would she need a knife though? Two options. First is a C-section. If the natural birth failed, maybe that's why Jun-hee looks so pale. But the main belief is that she's just cutting the umbilical cord. How else would it be cut? Ripping it off? I don't think so. Now let's get back to as to why she's crying. And there are a few options for this one. Maybe the baby ended up dying and she can't compose herself to help Jun-hee. Or even worse, Junhee dies during childbirth, and she's trying to help keep herself steady to help the baby. These are the two main theories, but it looks like this takes place after the fourth game. So some people are saying that she might be trying to get over her son, Young-sik, dying, with them being on opposite teams in the game. That's it for the birth scene, so let's see who the fanbase thinks will win. Out of the main characters, the ones still alive after the rebellion are Gi-hun, Junhee, Myung-gi, Geum-ja, Young-sik, Daeho, Hyunju, Player 100, Im Jong-dae, the shaman, Son-yo, her followers, Nam-gyu, and Min-soo. Yes, Young-suk is still alive as I mentioned earlier, but he's probably chilling with Noel, not fighting to the death in a maze. So out of these players, who will survive the game? We know that Gi-hun does from more handcuff shots, Min-soo does from a teaser frame, Geum-ja and Junhee do from the birth scene, and Myung-gi does from a frame showing him alive. Personally, I think Hyunju can survive. She's given a key before the fourth game, and if she can find her room quick enough, it's a free win. Then there's Nam-gyu, who already had a couple of kills, so he should be able to get through some of the games. Sorry Daeho lovers, but I think this is where he dies. He showed us in the rebellion that he doesn't have the balls to kill anybody, so he'll probably get killed by a misc red player hunting for a key. Player 100 should make it through with a key as well. The shaman, however, was annoying to quite a few other randoms, so I see her being killed by one of them, or even betrayed by one of her followers here. On to game 5, and if it's monkey bars, player 100 could easily die here at his age. All of his haters, so most of the community, let's be honest here, want to see him die a very painful death, regretting voting O every time wanting to live, but no. His blood spills on the floor, ready for his organs to be harvested. I think Young-sik could die here as well. He could quite easily make it through game 4 with a key on blue team, but I think he will try and save his mother here, the true sacrifice. He already showed us in Mingle that he actually does care about her. As for Hyunju, I think she makes it through along with Gi-hun and Nam-gyu. Myung-gi might die here though, protecting Junhee like Young-sik protected Geum-ja. So now we have our 5 finalists, Gi-hun, Geum-ja, Junhee, Hyunju, and Nam-gyu. But now you might be asking, what about the vote? 4 of them voted X. Well, I have an answer here. Gi-hun can't vote, so it's now 3-1, but we already saw Hyunju vote O at the start. I think she might repeat this, seeing how strength-based Monkey Bars was. So now it's tied 2-2, meaning we stay in the games for game 6. 5 finalists means multiple rounds. Let's say the frontman lets them pick their own teams this time as a reward for surviving the first 5 games. Hyunju will be kicked from the main character group after switching votes, not letting them leave, so she will be with Nam-gyu. He saw her slap the ever-living shit out of the shaman earlier on, so he might not reject this idea. No matter how strong they are though, safety in numbers can destroy them. 1 person per flank and 1 down the middle to win the game, with Geum-ja, Gi-hun, and Junhee going on to another round. I think that the groups will be indecisive, but Geum-ja and Gi-hun could both separately decide to let Junhee win and raise her baby, if she's still alive, which ends up in their sacrifice, making Junhee the winner of 2024 Squid Games. Now back to the players. This time it's 456 and 001, Gi-hun and In-ho. Well, Young-il, but you know what I mean. Gi-hun obviously hates In-ho's guts, not knowing that the man he befriended was the man he looked to kill. But what about In-ho? How does he feel about Gi-hun? He said in their conversations in the limo that he saw players as horses to bet on. But then you have the 457 shippers. This theory is that Gi-hun and In-ho were more than friends. Netflix has hinted it themselves with social media posts, and we see In-ho show emotion, maybe even crying whilst watching the games, so the 457 ship does go somewhere. Wow, we still haven't talked about Jun-ho. In Season 2, we saw him try, and fail, to infiltrate the island and stop the Squid Games forever. But Captain Park, In-ho's mole, didn't really want that happening. If it did happen, he'd probably get a bullet into the skull though, so fair play to him. Anyway, the teaser shows Jun-ho reaching the island alive, ready to confront his brother about the games, possibly ready to kill him, still thinking that In-ho had tried to kill him, not knowing that he had sent Captain Park out to save him. Maybe Jun-ho can end the series with a happy ending? I don't know, but he's ending this list. And that's it. That's all the theories I found for Squid Game Season 3. Let me know if I missed any down in the comments below, and if you're excited for Season 3 just like me, then make sure to watch my Squid Game Season 1 and Season 2 recap videos.